Welcome everyone to Our Android Week. This is Our Android Week with Alan Firstenberg in New York, Bruce Turner in Lynchburg, Virginia, Duke Carrico in Kingsport, Tennessee, Michael Banks in Augusta, Georgia, Nate Swanner in Portland, Oregon. This is Our Android Week. And welcome. Good to have you with us. It's been 2 weeks since our last show. We had some difficulties obtaining our panel as we approach the holidays. So I skipped it last week. Apologies, but we're back. And it's good to have you with us. So our first topic here is Black Friday sales on smartphone optimized websites up 187%. And this is from a release from a company called Branding Brand. It's they describe themselves as the leading mobile commerce platform to top retailers. Among those retailers are, I
don't really think it matters, but I think Branding
like
Brand
Costco.
really needs.
Go ahead.
What I think Branding Brand really needs to do is come up with a better brand, because Branding Brand sucks as a brand.
Indeed.
Brand. Anyway, no, the interesting part here is, what they have to say is, and some of the other reports that have come out as well today, talking about how, clearly the way to do sales is sitting at your couch with your tablet in front of you. And in most cases, that's going to be your iOS tablet, not your Android tablet. But one way or the other, people have realized that it's pretty stupid to go out in the cold when you can get as good or better deals from home.
So it's the interesting metric here. It's up 187%. So 34% of total e-commerce traffic came from mobile, from smartphones. Are they only smartphones, or perhaps tablets? Are they saying that?
It says smartphone optimized sites.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what that means at all. It could just mean that Branding Brand is behind the times.
Okay, it says they do not include apps from Branding Brand apps or from tablet properties. So just phones was 34%. So it's even higher if you include tablets. That's interesting. So clearly, if you're in e-commerce, you really need to address this. This is the equivalent of, in the mid to late 90s, not having a website. You're going to miss a whole lot of business. I don't know at what point the web accounted for, if it even does now. Obviously, some companies are purely, web or mobile, like Amazon, and others are purely in person, like your local grocery store in most cases. And so that's interesting. So obviously it's an increasingly a force to be reckoned with. And I'm surprised. I'd be interested to see a breakdown of how much, like, for example, American Eagle, you would think would be less than a Costco, because at Costco you can look and order something, you kind of know what it is, right? Whereas with clothes, you typically want to try them on.
But here's the thing. When you're ordering online, especially from a retailer like that, you have a rough idea what your size is. You order, a bunch of stuff. You get it and you try it on in the comfort of your home. And if you don't like it, you return it to your local store and your local mall. You don't have to fight the lines. You don't have to fight the mobs that are there on Black Friday. You get the deals. And you get the convenience, and that's what people care about.
Yeah, there was no way in hell I was going anywhere near a store on Black Friday. It's just insane.
I went to my Staples. It was next to empty about 4 hours after they opened.
The lady at the store told me when she got to work, there were 5 cars in the Target parking lot on Black Friday at like 9 a.m. I think all the action was at Walmart. I don't know what Target did,
Where action is defined as, fights and riots.
I think isn't that overplayed? I mean, it's like the plane crash makes all the
No,
trains that
what's
didn't
overplayed
crash.
is that nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares. What were the total sales on Black Friday? They were down over last year.
Were
Down.
they? I thought the reports were it was up.
No. Black Friday
Oh,
sales
because
were
so many
down.
opened on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I was watching something, and they showed this woman eating Thanksgiving dinner in a freaking Walmart parking lot with their family and all the trimmings. They're passing turkey and corn on paper plates so they can be in line for the freaking sales. Are you kidding me? Has it come to that? It's the end times.
No, it's not the end times. It's just clear that these marketers are totally lost about what they're doing. Let's move on, because really this isn't worth discussing further.
Okay. I guess we can eliminate our planned Black Friday specials upcoming segment from last week. Oh, man. Okay. So anyway, next up is Applebee's going to serve tablets at every table by sometime next year. This seems logical. The first time, if these are both regional chains, I think, but Wawa and Sheetz is the first time I ever saw an amazing computer food ordering experience. Although I think their menus are still going to be whatever, but you'll be able to pay. That's cool. You could pay with your tablet. Really, why don't they just have an app for your freaking phone to let you pay? You put the ticket number in, you pay, you leave. You don't have to wait for somebody, right? Why do you have to have their tablet with their shitty version of Android on it? That doesn't make any sense.
You get to have their tablet instead of trying to use yours because they can more easily control what's going on, and it's tied directly into their system. It's much cheaper. It's much more secure. You've got a bunch of issues you don't need to deal with.
I can't wait for the hackers to get their hands on those things. Can you imagine? All of a sudden, an Applebee's did no sales that day and the money's gone or something. I mean,
I don't know. The apps are proven. I mean, I've been in airports where the airport lounges, there's nobody around. There's just this tablet sitting at your seat, and you punch in your order, you pay for it, and somebody delivers it to you. You know, that was 2 years ago. So, you know, this is there, this is around, it's happening. Get with the times, or, you know, take a hike.
I think I don't know, in New York, I don't know if they have Sheetz or Wawa up there. It's a company out of Pennsylvania. But basically, it's these super mega convenience store gas stations, and you go up to a computer terminal, it's a touch screen, and you say, I want a hot sub, a cold sub, I want a drink, I want fries, or whatever it is. And then you say, on my hot dog, I want ketchup, mayonnaise, relish, whatever. And then they make it, and it tastes pretty good. And it's a beautiful interface. It's awesome. I don't know if they're going to, I guess this is different from what they're doing. But I'm surprised it's taken so long for restaurants to jump on this. Maybe because tablets are finally affordable.
Here's the thing that, you know, it's difficult for me to care about this. 12 years ago, I saw this at Walt Disney World. Self-ordering kiosks. You punch in the order, you walk up to the counter, you take their stuff, you walk away.
If they can get Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy in an Applebee's, I'll be impressed.
You know, this is easy.
Okay. So, meh.
No, it's cool, but, you know, it's 12-year-old technology.
It would be cooler if you could just have the app on your phone.
Yeah,
And then everyone...
Even then, I don't think it's all that cool.
But it is the best thing is you don't have to wait for the server on a busy Friday lunch. You don't have to wait for someone to come to give you a check when you're ready to go, because they don't want to give it to you too soon, because then it seems like they're pushing.
Well, then you could keep ordering. They want to push dessert on you too.
Right. Okay. All right. So next up, Chromecast purchases. They were $30. It was $29.95, but now it's not. That was a Black Friday thing on Amazon. But they're $35 again. Of course, if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you get free shipping. I don't know if Google Play charges for shipping, but it would. It was
a Black Friday thing at Best Buy too.
So the $5 off. It was the #1 item in electronics on Amazon, probably largely because they just gotten it, I think, and it was $5 off. It's an impulse price point, even at $35. But $5 off, who cares? I mean, you know. But you also get $6 in the Google Play store, which is, I guess, designed to encourage you to buy a movie or whatever, but you can use it for anything, but you can't use it for a subscription or for devices. But again, $6, who cares? It just whets your appetite, because then you can buy some stuff for free and try the experience out, see if you like it, right?
Exactly.
And I find if you have a television, I have in this office I have one TV, a bunch of computers. It's 32-inch TV. It's about 3 feet in front of my face. I use it as my computer monitor. So if you're in that situation, a Chromecast doesn't really do much for you. So I don't really use it that often, because this is my second computer screen for one of my computers. So I can drag Netflix. First of all, it's a Vizio that has a Netflix app and an Amazon Prime app, but I don't even use those. I just drag a window over. And then, so I don't really need the Chromecast in this thing. But if I had a big TV on my living room, then, then it's a cool device.
I've seen friends who, they're not the most tech savvy, but they love their TV. They went and bought 2 Chromecasts. Okay? Without even asking me, they bought 2 Chromecasts. This is getting out there. There are people that are using it, and people love it. The Netflix CEO loves it, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised at Amazon. I bet they're on the fence. Do we or don't we? For their videos? Because you cannot easily watch Amazon Prime Video on an Android tablet or on the newer ones, because they don't have Flash. But there's ways around it. I think the Puffin web browser is one, I think, that does Flash. But it's a clunky experience, so I just don't watch them on my mobile. I'd rather watch it on my 32-inch anyway. But yeah, it's a cool device. It's $30. Free shipping with Amazon Prime. We'll have more about that in a bit. So there you go. The Chromecast arrives in Seattle. Is that where Amazon is? They're all over. And if you haven't seen the 60 Minutes thing on behind the scenes, it wasn't just about the stupid helicopter that's not going to happen for 2 more years, at least. It was behind the scenes about Amazon, and it's awesome. And you can watch it. Just go to cbsnews.com. And if it's not there, click on 60 Minutes.
We'll be discussing it further this Friday on Google Plus Week.
Absolutely.
8:30 Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific.
Maybe I could put literally a wall of Amazon boxes behind me. At any given time, I either have an Amazon box arriving that day or in transit. Amazon Prime is the best and worst thing in the world, because you can just, like that epic, offensive but hysterical Onion story, Amazon one-click bankrupts area Parkinson sufferer. It's just that easy to get stuff, and it's free shipping. You get it in 2 days. You pay usually $4 for next day. You can order stuff at 6 p.m. and have it by 10 a.m. the next day. It's unbelievable, and it's so easy to spend. But anyway, enough about Amazon for now. Okay, so tablets carve out nearly half of the PC market next year, or will, is is it? I like my Nexus 7. Bruce had one. He got rid of it. Alan, I think you have one and don't use it that often. I like it. Certainly, it's the most pleasant way to read an Amazon book, a Kindle book, or an e-book. I much prefer that over my computer screen. I like if I'm cooking or something, and like on Saturday, if I'm cleaning the kitchen or cooking and I want to watch the McLaughlin Group, which I post every week, I like that I can move it around and watch it on my tablet for YouTube video. But most of the stuff I prefer on my desktop computer, because it's a no-compromise system. Apps are downscaled versions of computer programs, optimized for the tab. But there's some stuff you can do on the phone and tablet you can't do on your desktop, and it's a more pleasurable experience in that case, like reading a book. But I don't think that laptops and desktops are going to be displaced anytime soon by tablets. What do y'all think?
I know. What are your thoughts, Bruce?
I agree. For me personally, I have just stumbled upon, however you want to put it, what is the great combination for me, and that is, the Samsung phone and the Samsung Series 3 Chromebook. So, just the phone and the Chromebook has just worked out to be good for me. A good sized phone that enables me to get some good work done on it rather than a small phone. But then having the instant on Chromebook option, it's just a great combination for me. There's not a tablet out there that intrigues me or draws me in now especially since adding the Chromebook to my golf bag, so to speak. It swings really good.
Bruce is in fact a swinger. Don't tell his old lady. Don't tell her I called her an old lady.
Yeah, I apologize for being late.
It's okay.
Yeah, I've got a Monday night commitment that runs 7 to 9. So I was rushing to get over here. I thought about joining on my car, but it would be too dark, and you wouldn't want to see me go through the drive-through and get that ice cream cone at McDonald's either. So
They do have good ice cream.
yes.
Okay, so all right. Do you have any thoughts, Alan, or you don't care? You want to move?
No, I care. I mean, I think that I think more and more we're going to start seeing the tablet apps taking over from some of the desktop apps. You know, certainly there's always going to be a role for the beefier, the bigger screen, and so that you see on a notebook or a desktop. But I think we're going to be seeing those less and less. And we're going to be seeing tablets filling that role more and more. So it's not just going to be for reading books. It's going to be for doing things like basic photo editing and basic movie editing and stuff like that isn't going to require the notebook.
You think fewer people are using a PC, or they're just stretching it longer? Instead of upgrading after 2 or 3 years, they're upgrading after 4 or 5 years.
Well, I think it's both. I think people aren't using PCs as much, so they're continuing to use the PCs that they have. But as those phase out, they're realizing that the new version, in order to upgrade, it's going to be unreasonable to upgrade. They're not getting anything more than they had before, so they're being forced to pay for something that isn't worth it to them. And once they start looking at options, there are some really good options out there. So it includes options like a Chromebook. It includes options like a tablet. So once they start thinking about what options they have, they're going to pick one.
And of course, the capabilities are emerging, have been for some time. The first time I saw apps on my television, I thought, "Whoa, that's incredible!" There's an Ethernet plug and a Wi-Fi built into my TV, and I can watch all this crap. Right? I can hook it into my computer. Used to be YouTube. You couldn't watch that on your television set unless you were a hobbyist and had some kind of setup. Right? YouTube was for the computer, and then smartphones came along and became commonplace, and then all of a sudden you could watch it on your phone. Now you can watch it on your television set. You can do all sorts of things. It used to be certain devices, I still like my tablet, mainly for reading books and for being mobile and doing stuff. It's a bigger screen than my phone. Still like my phone, still like my computer. And I use all three, and I couldn't live without the computer. I could probably not live without the phone. I could live without the tablet. But the tablet's so cheap, who cares? It's fun. I like it. Does that make sense? I don't know.
It's interesting. You've probably seen the rumor that Apple is going to come out with a 12.9-inch, almost 13-inch tablet sometime in 2014. And for some people, tablets may be the thing. But I do a lot of presenting as well. It's a whole lot easier for me to walk around with a Note 2 and read my notes, or even a 7-inch Nexus 7 if that's what I use. But it just occurs to me I'm sensing a little deja vu. People like the BlackBerry because of the keyboard, that tactile feel. And, it just dawns on me that I like the Chromebook because I like the keyboard. Everything about tablet growth is tied to the touchscreen interface and its wide adoption. Now, people are obviously getting used to the touchscreen interface on their phones. It's obviously won out over BlackBerry. But I almost, I think, my attraction of the Chromebook is having the keyboard. Most people I know that get a tablet end up getting a case that has a Bluetooth keyboard built into it. That's what most people do when they get the Surface. By the time you add the case with the built-in Bluetooth keyboard, you basically got, kind of a Chromebook type thing. So, a lot of people still are going to want a keyboard for note-taking and things like that. Obviously, you don't need a keyboard to do photo editing, but it's going to be interesting to see. I think it's very, very personal to what you as a user need to do.
What devices do you have? I know you have a Note 2. You had a Nexus 7 you got rid of. You have a Chromebook. Yeah, what the Microsoft pawns would say is a real computer as well, or did you get rid of that just for the Chromebook?
No, I have the Note 2, I have the Chromebook, and I have a quad core desktop with dual monitors, and that's where I work every day. That's where I record my podcast on this setup. That's where I do live video streaming in some small groups that I do, and creating video tutorials. I do that on my desktop. But if I get away from the house, it's grab the Chromebook and go to the coffee shop, and if I need to do anything on my desktop, I'll remote into it from the coffee shop on my Chromebook.
Which of your devices? So your laptop is must have, could not live without, mandatory. Your Chromebook is you love it, wouldn't want to live without it, but you probably could because you did for so long. And the Note 2 is a must have, probably
Correct.
just under the laptop or equal.
Yeah, I mean, I have a Dell Latitude business laptop that the company gives me. It's in there, but I use my own personal desktop for doing that work. I have to carry that when I travel down to the home office, just so I can, slop it into the what do you call it?
The dock.
The docking station.
And so they know that, so they don't take it back, because if they think you're not using it, if they're watching this program, you're in trouble.
Right. No, I wouldn't want them to know that that I'm VPNing in on the network on my personal PC, but fortunately they don't block it by MAC address.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So next up, Google confirms RAW file support and native burst mode shooting coming to Android. I've had a very fancy $8,000 Canon 1D, and I have now an NEX7, which is $1,200, and is superior literally in every way to the Canon 1D, my 2007 1D. But I am no photographer. I mean, I've done some nice shots, but I'm not like a Craig Shipp or you, Alan. So can you explain why, if you think it's a big deal that RAW support would be coming to Android?
This is not a big deal. This is a huge deal. This is a massive deal. This is probably one of the biggest things to come to the photo app ever, and that includes photosphere and panoramic mode. The reason why this is so big, real photographers, in fact, anybody who likes doing anything with their photographs besides taking pictures of their breakfast and posting it immediately, cares about RAW mode. And the reason is RAW mode captures everything that there is that can possibly be captured about the photograph when it takes it. We've had this discussion on Google Plus Week a number of times. But basically, RAW mode represents exactly what hits the sensor. So everything that can be captured is captured in RAW mode. With JPEG, which is what the camera which is what everything supports these days, you lose a lot of information. Just the compression algorithm itself cuts out some of the information from the photo itself. You lose information about what color balances may be in play. You lose information about what sensors got what data exactly, and different algorithms can be used to process this raw data into better photos than what your camera did when it converted it to JPEG. So the fact that there's the potential for this RAW mode to be stored at some future point, that's just killer.
Would it be a standard format, or would each, like Samsung would have a different one?
There are enough RAW formats around that I'm assuming they're going to pick one of them, and in all likelihood, they're going to pick one of the standard ones that are out there. But one of the things that this does suggest is that if somebody created a high-end camera that ran on Android, now it'll be able to store RAW format. So we've seen, we've talked about the role that Android cameras are taking in the future. This is just one more thing that an Android camera will be able to do that real photographers would be interested in.
Okay, so what can you do if you had a RAW, what could you do that you can't do with JPEG other than get more information? I mean, like, what are the ways you could modify the picture later afterward?
The important thing to understand is what that more information gives you. So it gives you things that will, for example, be able to do better color correction, better white balance. And with those elements, you're going to be able to create pictures that are more correctly representative of what you actually saw out there. And those are just two very basic examples.
Do you shoot? Craig Shipp shoots everything. Craig Shipp is on a Google Plus Week show, and he's got a bunch of different cameras, and he's from the film darkroom days, right? So he's an accomplished long-term photographer. He shoots everything in RAW, and he told me to do that, so I did, and I'm still trying to figure out the default program that comes with the NEX7. I'm not that good at it yet. I can make it work, but I can't get the files the right size. So what I'm doing is I'm doing dual save. I'm saving in RAW and JPEG, for now, and then I'm going to figure it out, right? Because you can always erase the JPEG later, and it's quicker to just grab it if you want to post it real fast.
Yeah, but I shoot everything in RAW. And a big part of the reason I shoot everything in RAW is because, well, when I use my DSLR, I shoot everything in RAW. And a big part of that is because I can edit everything in RAW directly. And although it may take some more time, I get a better quality of picture to start with. And from there, that means I'm going to get a better quality of picture, hopefully, that I end up with. The dual mode is fine if you just want to grab a picture and post, but even there, Google Plus accepts RAW format files.
I didn't know that. That's interesting. So I could do a side-by-side. Is there a difference discernible to the average?
There probably isn't, and part of the reason why there probably isn't is because you can't actually see a RAW file. What Google Plus does to show you the RAW file is they convert it to JPEG, and their conversion algorithm is probably pretty good, but it's not necessarily any better than the one that produced the other JPEG.
Bruce, are you a photography nut? Do you have anything to add to this? Because Alan definitely knows more than I do.
That sounds like a no.
Okay.
All right. That or Bruce is frozen.
So there we have it. All right, cool. Okay, so there's a review here of the Sony SmartWatch 2. I'm still waiting for a good smartwatch. I know you don't need one because you've got your glass. So I guess Bruce is going to try to refresh. So here's the Sony SmartWatch 2. I see this is from The Verge, and it's kind of a lackluster review. They're just not there yet, right? I mean, you should read it for yourself. We linked to it in the show, right? But I read a nice review of the Pebble from someone who actually uses it, and there just doesn't exist a good one yet. And Samsung's seems, I think the term Nate used is spaghetti on the wall. They just wanted to get something out there quick, and their first iteration is been panned largely. You are obviously an expert in wearable, since you have Google Glass and you're developing for it. This is going to be huge when someone gets it right?
I think so. I mean, I think the biggest problem in getting it right is actually understanding what that means. And right now, they're still thinking in terms of how do we tie this to our phone? How does it, do some basic function replacement with our phone, and not actually try to understand why people would want a watch to do some of the stuff that they do. I had somebody ask me the other day, what is it about glass that's different? Because after all, it does everything that a smartphone does. And I said, sure, but my desktop computer does everything that my smartphone does too. But you're not going to compare the two of them. The difference is in how you use it. And once watch manufacturers start getting that, then maybe we'll see some real revolution in watches. I think Pebble more or less has it. They kind of capture the spirit of why you'd want it. but clearly, it's not clear to me that Sony really gets it yet. The notification system is still incomplete and more annoying than useful. That kind of screams to you that they don't really get it yet.
That's the key thing, though, that you'd want, right? That's the key advantage of any wearable tech. Your phone will do everything a smartwatch will do. It's on your wrist. Your stuff's on your glass. Your glass will do more than a phone would do, different things. But basically, it's a great notification thing. You don't have to pull your phone out of your pocket. If you're carrying groceries in, you can just look at your wrist and see, oh, okay, husband or wife's whatever going to be late or whatever it is. You don't have to pull the phone out. If the phone's ringing, you can decide whether to answer it. It's a sales call. I'll just let it roll into voicemail. I'll answer it. It's my aunt and she's not feeling well this week or something. It's a useful tool to decide whether you have to plunge into your purse or your pocket or what have you. Maybe not. We're good?
No, you got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next is... we covered this on Google Plus Week as well, but I enjoyed Alan's rant so much I thought we'd also do it on this program. Maybe you can rant in a different way. But
I don't remember exactly what I said last time, so...
Good. So we can begin anew. So there's a market for filtered content.
Oh yeah, I remember what I said now.
The obvious market would be parents of kids, and so Sprint has this. I'm calling it a censorship mode, but they're saying to protect your devices from adult content and malware.
Because there's so much malware being spread by cell phone right now.
So I got this on email from Sprint, and they're saying it's used by millions. I assume China and Iran. This is very popular.
Great Britain. You forgot Great Britain and Australia.
Okay. So this only works on the Sprint network. So if you're using Wi-Fi or roaming, it would not work. So it's basically not only ineffective and filtering good stuff that shouldn't be filtered, but only works on the mobile network. So
yeah, brilliant and nearsighted as usual. This is a solution in search of a real problem. And to be perfectly honest, it's a solution that anybody under the age of 13 is going to be able to figure out how to get around in about as many seconds. It's worthless. It's totally, totally crap, and it's totally, totally worthless. What this is, this is there to make Sprint sound good to parents.
It's a selling tool, I suppose. If the Amish start getting phones, you could tout this.
You're stretching here, Dan.
They all have a cell phone they can go to. I mean, like a phone booth or something for emergencies, but they don't have them in their houses.
It's more complicated than that. We'll talk about it.
That'd be a hell. Isn't there a reality show?
Bet you it is a reality show already. Next.
Okay, next up on our Android Week, our Android Fortnight. I added quotation marks. The Cyanogen Installer, voluntarily pulled from the Play Store. I use the term voluntarily loosely. It's like if you voluntarily turn your wallet over to a mugger, instead of him taking it out of your pocket. This was, I forget why. I read this last week. You can still get it.
So basically, for those who are unaware, Cyanogen Mod is it's Android. It's another release of Android, put out by the Cyanogen group, and they had released an installer on the Play Store to make it easier for people to install Cyanogen Mod, which is a good thing if you want to install Cyanogen Mod, and arguably not a good thing if you're Google. I think I don't know. Google has an interesting point that they really don't. One of their concerns is they don't want people just installing the installer running it and then, voiding the warranty on their phone, which they might accidentally do. Whereas people who legitimately want to be able to do this sort of thing should have an easy route to do so. So having the installer itself is a good thing. Having it on the Play Store, yeah, okay, I can see why that's not necessarily a good thing. And the app is still available. You can still get it directly from Cyanogen. So that's fine, I think. Being able to do what you want with your device is a good thing. Cyanogen enabling you to do it is a good thing. Having it on the Play Store may or may not have been a good thing. So I can see this argument.
Is it? I've never tried it. I think obviously the main advantage was you didn't have to have a rooted device with this version.
I haven't tried it either, but if my understanding is that no, you wouldn't need to root the device yourself. The installer does it for you.
Ah, okay. Is it risky? Should people like me who don't have a freaking clue do this? Or
not unless you have good reason.
I mean, I'm happy. Certainly on my tablet, I've got KitKat now. Finally, did you finally get it?
Yeah, I finally got it. It reminded me that I wasn't sure why I wanted it in the first place.
I don't see any difference at all. Do you see any difference?
Oh yeah, I see it. The biggest difference I found is the lock screen. With pattern
we waited
lock
how long?
now, with pattern lock now, instead of getting green circles when you draw the pattern, it gives you white circles.
I was overjoyed to get that. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I was totally thrilled. I really have no idea why I'm supposed to care.
And the KitKat candy bars don't have the branding yet that I've seen.
Really? You don't have the... You didn't have your KitKat candy bars with...
Not with the Android thing. I
Well,
haven't seen it. Maybe Front Royal...
You lose.
Maybe there's more KitKats sold in the New York area. Okay. So there you go. Cyanogen Mod voluntarily pulls app from the Play Store. Okay, next up are some neat Google Voice command or Google Now commands that I didn't know about. This is a CNET article, and I guess Alan, I got my beautiful Nexus 7 tablet here, so I can just I can pull these up, right? I can say that's how they did it, right? Okay, Google. List of Google Now commands. Let's see if it does it. It takes me to the article on CNET.
Gotta love it.
Okay, so let's look at this here. This is, let me share my screen. Yeah.
Let's be clear here. Let's also be clear. This is not Google Now. This is Google Voice Command.
Oh, I'm sorry. Google Voice commands. Okay.
No matter what CNET says.
So you can search general commands. How old is someone? Who's the author? Just general interest. You can set. So if you I know the alarm clock I use. I'll often do that when I go to bed. If I'm taking a nap before the show, I'll say, wake me up at 7:45 p.m. and then it does it, and then it says your alarm's set for 1 hour and 23 minutes from now. So I know it's set correctly, and then I see a little alarm clock thing go up. But it says, remind me to buy milk at 5 p.m. So what would that be doing? Would that be doing a Google Calendar thing, or what kind of notification?
I think it sends you an email notice, actually. I think the remind me once, if I remember correctly, sends you an email notice while set alarm sets an alarm, which is actually pretty annoying. Mind you, I use it all the time, but whenever I then go into my alarms, I discover there are, hundreds of alarms.
Often the same time.
Yeah. Or often for, 1 minute delayed from a previous one. So
where are the Easter eggs they're talking about here? So there's what time is it in Tokyo? When is the sunset? You can say create a calendar event. Dinner in New York, Saturday, 8 p.m. So remind me would default to an email, but you can create a calendar event. And it's inching closer to the Star Wars computer. It's inching closer to, I guess it's similar to Siri.
Star Trek computer, Dan.
Star Trek computer, sorry. You can send an email. Blah, blah, blah. And there's just a bunch of stuff here. So again, this is and the Easter eggs. When am I? You can say OK Jarvis instead of OK Google. Who are you? Let me see. So what happens? Which one of these should I do?
I don't know. People should do them at their own.
You're right. Absolutely.
Personally, I like the when am I?
All right, I'll do that one. Okay, Google. When am I? It's giving me the time.
It's not giving you a clever audio message as well?
Oh, maybe if my speakers were on.
Oh, that would be nice. Anyway, yes, that's an audio cue. That was one of the funnier ones. It basically says, it makes a time travel joke.
Okay. So anyway, that was a fail on my part. All right, cool. Next up, did Bruce ever make it back in?
Nope.
Okay. Basically a walking Microsoft dad, that guy. He's on his Chromebook. He can't join the... Okay. Android tablets now share tablet design apps by default in Google Play.
Yippee.
I thought they didn't? Or maybe it's just more prominent. They put a new...
They've now put in a tablet section in Google Play, and apparently if you go to the Play Store from a tablet, it highlights those instead. So, yippee.
Do most apps... For example, we talked earlier, and we will talk again about Amazon. But Amazon has a tablet-optimized app, and then they have the smartphone-optimized app. And I believe that at some point, it knew I was on a tablet and suggested that I get that. Do most apps do that, or am I wrong?
No, most apps actually are smart enough to know what your resolution is and what kind of device you're using and adjust accordingly. Having more than one app is so passé. It's so iPhone-like.
I know SwiftKey just switched to a single app that would know. I think.
And Android encourages that. It provides all the information you need to be able to do that without a problem. That's one of the advantages to Android.
So we're all very excited about the new Google app, whatever I said.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
I'm so thrilled about it that, once again, the Google Play Store is just totally missing the boat on how to correctly handle metadata for applications. But, that's no surprise.
Okay, so this is fun. Now our fun section. Not that the rest of the show wasn't fun, but this is especially fun. So T-Mobile and AT&T have words via Twitter over a customer. I guess this guy was doing a rant, and T-Mobile weighed in and said to Rambling Rooney, there's an alternative to old school wireless carriers, right? It's called T-Mobile, the uncarrier. And so then AT&T weighed in and said, resist the urge, Jay. We heard it's dark, scary, and no one can ever hear you. No one.
I think that's really ballsy of AT&T to say, considering their network was, used to be total crap.
I think it's fun, and we're talking about it, and Android community, Nate Swanner, this is his article, I believe. Let me verify.
Yeah, but that's like Microsoft warning people not to use Chrome because it doesn't use it doesn't have their inferior applications to it. It's just ballsy.
There's some, I can't remember that really funny spat between two companies, but it was funny. It was.
Yeah, clearly the social media people are getting more of a sense of humor and realizing that it works when it comes to attracting customers. That and they're probably bored all day.
But I find more and more companies are responding when I do a rant, and responding well and quickly, fairly quickly. But then the AT&T CEO weighed in, or no, the T-Mobile CEO, challenging the AT&T CEO to address this one guy's tech support issue. So it's kind of it's not the funniest tit for tat, but worth a look, I guess. And then I put this one in. I know you wanted to talk about this. Eric Schmidt did a guide to switching from iOS to Android. And you had some thoughts on this.
I did.
You said
okay.
But then you couldn't make the show. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I saw this list of how to convert from one to the other, and I'm like, Eric, you're really not doing your product any justice as usual. Because he was talking about incredibly complicated and stupid things that you needed to do. And I'm just like, okay, this might be what is necessary, but it doesn't make it look easy. It doesn't make it sound easy. And it's really just going to encourage people who are on iOS to stay on iOS because it looks like a pain in the ass to switch.
He really looks like a geek in his picture, doesn't he?
You mean more than usual?
I like Eric Schmidt. I'm glad he wasn't kidnapped in North Korea. Okay, yeah, this is pretty in-depth.
Yeah, and I mean, it's got to be, because it's not necessarily an easy switch.
How hard is the switch back? Like if I got suddenly was captured by natives and forced to use an iPhone.
I don't know. Let
Would
Johnny
there be a
Ives
learning
write
curve?
that. I don't know. Let Johnny Ives write that article.
I talked to Craig. I said, "Will there be some kind of learning curve?" And he said, "There's no learning curve with Apple products." It just
He's
works.
right. There is no learning curve whatsoever with Apple products. It either works or it does not work. And more often than not, it does not work.
Okay. So we shouldn't necessarily point our iOS fence sitter friends to this article as the switching for dummies alternative.
No.
Okay. But we still love Eric, and he's always welcome on the program. Okay, so next up.
Yeah, that I'd like to see.
You'd have to be restrained.
Me? I'm always polite when we have Vic Gundotra on Google Plus Week.
True.
Even if he does dodge my questions.
You always, when are we going to get an API? It's always the first question from you. And he always gives you the exact same answer. What's the biggest regret you have? That we didn't do it sooner. I mean, it's really, we love Vic. He could be watching because he follows both of us, I think. So we have to be nice. But I do like Vic, and we appreciate his annual visit. Okay, so next up, our recommended apps of the week. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I will go first. As soon as I, actually get it loaded and fun things like that.
I'll share. Start. You want me to share? I can do it. Or you want?
I'm going. I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm doing this. My app of the week is Phases of the Moon, and I have up here the pro version of it.
We're not seeing anything yet. Okay, there you go. You got it now.
It's a clever little app released by the Universe Today team. With Fraser Kane, for many of you may or may not know him. He's been pushing this for a while now. I've actually had this installed for ages, and I just realized that I didn't actually talk about it. So it's a simple app. Shows you a high-res picture of the moon. Shows you the current phase of the moon. Assorted other trivia about it. Zoom in on it. You can even see some further details about it. Get a calendar to find out when it will be at what point. It is tablet capable. All sorts of the usual fun stuff here. The feature that I discovered of it today was that there is a widget. So you can put the moon right on your desktop. And every day you'll just see it, what its current phase is, sitting right there on your desktop. And I think that would actually look great with a background of stars.
That's cool. So you could look up at the sky and test it. And then if it was wrong, you could troll Fraser. Is it Fraser's app? Or he just turned you on to it?
It's by Universe Today, which is his newspaper or whatever it is, news magazine.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
So my app of the week, Phases of the Moon.
Is there a, I guess,
It's a couple of bucks. The free version, it really all it does is it has a footnote that says, please buy the pro version.
so it's fully functional.
Yes, fully functional.
But he's our friend, so give him $1.89. Be a guy. You could use $3.11 left. $4.11.
So what's your app, Dan?
My app of the week is the Amazon app, which initially sounds surprising, except there's a good article that Nate, I'd seen this, but I hadn't really paid attention to all the things. As I try to pull up, I'm in the same boat that Alan was in here. Nate did an article in Android community. What they're doing is they're offering a free trial of the Prime membership, and they've updated their app. They update it fairly regularly. The only thing I don't like is that you can't stream video on your Android device. That's the only criticism, but they're trying to sell Kindles, and so I can't blame them, but I wish you could do that. But the Amazon app is cool. You can check. I use it to track products for shipping. And if you use Amazon Prime, it's the best and the worst thing you could possibly do. Like I said earlier, I think it's the best thing because you can just get stuff free within 2 days if you're not in a hurry, and the prices are fantastic. Most of the time, you should still check other places. And the overnight shipping is discounted. And it's just so easy to buy stuff. That's the bad part. You end up spending all this money constantly. But you also, with Amazon Prime, you get a Netflix-like service. Their instant video with tons of stuff. And they'll do specials. They'll do exclusive deals. I think Under the Dome, the CBS thing, they have an exclusive deal where they streamed it on Amazon, I think 6 days after the episode aired. And they're the only place online you can get it, except, I guess, CBS.com you can get it. But it's just, it's great. So Amazon Prime is a fantastic service. I think it's, what is it, $90 a year, Alan? It's about the cost of Netflix. But it's, imagine if you got Netflix and you got free shipping and cheap prices on stuff and very heavily discounted overnight shipping. For most things, it's like $4 to have it overnighted or free for 2 days. And often when you do the 2-day option, if you do it early in the day enough, you'll get it the next day anyway. So it's just awesome. And so I would recommend the Amazon app. Try it out. If you don't have it now, you can, I guess anybody, even if you do have it, if you're not a Prime subscriber, you should activate your free 30 days and try it. You'll love it. And you'll never have to buy a CD or a DVD again. I also recommend Netflix. I have both. So there. Any final thoughts, Alan?
Nope.
Okie doke. Well, thank you all very much. We appreciate it. Thanks to Bruce and to Alan, the rest of our panel who couldn't make it. It's crazy in the holidays. But thank you for watching, and we will see you next Monday. Oh, Friday night. We have Google Plus Week every Friday at about 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And then we will return with another Hour Android Week on Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern. 9-ish. I've been trying to be more on time lately. But anyway, folks, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful, wonderful day and a wonderful week. And enjoy this time with your family. See ya.